ThatNERDSoul.
Ha ha! We back, y'all. Yo, look, shouts to Crazy 8. Awesome, awesome stuff. Open mind doing this thing. But we here for our panel. We ain't alone. You know what I'm saying? We back with a whole host of folks. All right. Of course, you can see people all around in these squares. We're going to get to them in just a second. But if you're brand new, you just came through, this is the rent party. We here, Black Comix, cosplay, gaming, writing, illustration, all that jazz. So starting, I guess we'll start at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? Because we got illustrious illustrator. Takia Marie, say what up.
What's up, you guys? How you doing? Happy Halloween.
Yeah. And Lazy Nerd.
Yo, yo, yo. What up?
Shouts to Brandon Thomas.
Hey, what's up? How y'all doing?
And Gamma Ray Cosplay.
Hey.
And of course, Robert Mother Jeffrey.
What's going on? Happy Halloween and go vote.
Man. So this is the panel for this is a panel we have called Don't Sleep on the Pandemic. I'm gonna go in and throw it to Jason, let him take it away. You know what I'm saying? Because we about to get into some stuff. But Jason, introduce the panel, if you will, sir.
Don't sleep on the pandemic. What is this one about? Is this one about creating during the pandemic? Is this that one? Is this the one where we talk about coming up with ideas for pushing our respective brands through this sort of drought? Is that what we're talking about here? I'm asking because I don't know.
This is about how are y'all doing? Like how are y'all doing? Like how are y'all really doing? Like I'll start with Brandon Thomas. How are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Surviving, creating, living, breathing. You know,
yes, yeah.
How you doing?
Thankfully, it's been an interesting year. It's kind of we can cuss and stuff, right? Yeah.
PG-13.
PG-13.
Okay.
It's all ages.
So it's kind of messed up right now. So it's strange because professionally I'm having like the best year that I've ever had, which I think is a little aggravating that now that the world is completely on fire and now the sad little like kind of marketplace that comics exist in is kind of under another assault, and all of a sudden it's like we should get Brand to write everything right now. now that we've driven the car completely off the cliff and it's on fire, now we want it. But despite having said that, I have had a lot of amazing opportunities come my way this year. Excellence is starting to really changed the game for me professionally with other publishers. So I have I'm sure a lot of you've seen some of the DC stuff I've had trickling out, like some shorter stories and anthologies. I just had my first Superman story come out as a digital first, and I'm gonna write a couple of books for thank you. And I'm gonna write a couple books for DC's Future State in January and February. And I can't say what, but I'm already working with them on further projects. So it's not a 2-month rental. They're not renting us out for a couple of months, to help with the event. So me and some of the other, writers of color and women that have been kind of brought into this big event are actually working on follow-up projects, which is always a big question. We can always come out for the big kind of, diversity party, but once that's over, we go back to being invisible. So I'm happy to, I feel pretty positive about it so far, but it's been a very, very interesting year, and I'll have a lot of stuff coming out next year, and people will be like, how are you writing all this stuff? I'm like, I wrote it last year. It's just all coming out now. But so it's been a pretty it's been, you know, stressful. The keeping up with the schedule is definitely challenging, but I am trying to I'm just trying to keep doing new things and trying to keep getting better, you know. And it's pretty cool that I've you know, I've been able to make a return of sorts to DC. So it's been a pretty cool year. I could use you know, I use a little sleep, of course. I have a toddler, so it's just a dream that I have.
Just
You
a
know,
dream.
just a dream.
Getting no sleep.
But
It's over
but
with.
it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I can't and shouldn't complain. So because I've been able to you know, kind of weather this this kind of chaotic period in our world in a way that I did not expect when it started. So I'm hanging in there, trying to get better and putting out stuff that people are excited by. So I want to take advantage of these opportunities right now.
Yeah.
What up?
I want to stay on that vibe and pass it around to everybody. But I definitely want to come back to that idea that Brandon kind of touched on regarding kind of the survivor's guilt. I think there's been kind of a leveling that came out of the pandemic, which you know, for all of the damage that has come, there was a opening of the playing field. I wouldn't quite say a leveling of it, but an opening of the playing field to where some opportunities kind of laid themselves there for people who were kind of active and working. And I think there is kind of a weird feeling of the time in which the success is happening and the circumstances under which they're happening. But on the vibe of how everybody's feeling and kind of what everybody's doing, I think that we could all agree on a more universal level that if you're working, if you're trying to hustle, then you're probably going to eat during the pandemic. So I kind of want to shape the question more along the lines to everybody. What are you doing personally with your hustle? How have you adapted your hustle over the course of the pandemic? And let me throw that to Robert first. I'm gonna just lob it that way.
For me, it's kind of getting out of my comfort zone. So that's one of the kind of the biggest things, and I try to do that when it comes to the writing period. So, you know, one of the things that I've mentioned before is that I did some screenplay work, and just real talk, there was something that I was new. It was completely new, so I had to do my homework. I had to learn, in addition to, you know, what I had learned before, how to apply you know, those techniques when it came to writing. And the end result was, I'm just like hyping myself up, probably one of the best things that I've written in a while. So one of the things is you have to kind of get out of your comfort shell, you know, out of, and for me, that tends to be comics, you know, because I can write comics really well. So I've been trying to lean more into the prose work, like I said, the screenplay work, and also getting back into, you know, comic books, you know, journalism. But, you know, my family has this thing about, we love to eat food, and we like keeping a roof over our heads. So I'm just being real. Like, if I'm not getting hired in a particular spot, I can't continue to beat my head up against that wall and be like, please open the door, because it's not gonna happen. So specifically, you know, when it comes to comic books, I've done, you know, my bread and butter has been indies. You know, shout out to 133 Art, shout out to Subsume Media. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, the stuff that I could talk about. But you know, for a couple of years there, even before this, I tried to break into the mainstream, you know, a bit more than I had before, because of the DC workshop, and nobody was biting. So it was just, you know, I kept going with indies, and that, you know, that's, you know, might be my comfort level, but it's something that it's worked out, you know. So it's so you gotta branch out from, you know, what you think is going to be your bread and butter, and be realistic about that. I'll keep it PG-13-ish. Because I think a lot of people drive themselves crazy, like, you know, and that's where I was until I talked to my wife about it. But you got to switch it up. You got to switch it up. You will be forced to. So that's kind of where I'm at.
That's a good answer, and I appreciate you keeping it PG-13, Robert. Man, you're a real mother trucker. As an artist and repping for those of us on that side of the pen, what have you been doing with your particular hustle to adapt during the moment?
I'll take that one. For me personally, I think, especially during something like this is where my networking has come in, has come in strong for me, because I've gotten jobs through people that I know or people that I knew were looking for things like, Robert, is the screenplay you're talking about the thing we're doing?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I don't know how much I can say about it, but
I'm not going to say too much about it either, but I don't mind people knowing that we're doing, we're on that together. But what actually happened, just to tell the story, a friend of mine who I used to work with, someone came to her, wanted to do something, and they needed an artist. She came to me. I looked at the script and I said, hey, I have somebody who can punch up this script. And I went to Robert. So you see how the line kind of just jumped, and I was able to, not only get a job, but, get a friend a job too.
Right.
That, I thought paid really well. So in this situation, like, this is when your networking, all the networking that you've done when you could go outside is gonna come back and really help you, because I think jobs are kind of getting a little bit tight now in terms, at least in the freelance world. I'm not so sure about, how people are doing in 9 to 5s, but at least in the freelance world, people are kind of tightening their purse strings a little bit. So it's good to know people so that you can get that first word of, hey, somebody I know is looking for something. Are you interested? Do you have time in your schedule? Stuff like that. And I think that's really been coming in strong for me. So that's the one thing I would say is, network a lot, talk to people. I know a lot of people go to cons and stuff like that, which is really great. But another great way to network I found is when people hit you up on social media, even if it's just like a comment on your stuff, you pay it back, you pay it back. And not because you want something from them, like, make it genuine, like, take genuine amount of time and go look at somebody else's stuff that maybe commented on yours, and like, pay it back, push them and compliment them, and be like, actually look into their stuff. And that kind of forms a genuine relationship, one that's formed where it's natural, it's not forced. And you never know, that person might know somebody later on down the line. I'm not saying do it for that reason, but networking with people, being genuine with people, actually taking the time to check out people's stuff and buy their stuff. It's a community thing, and that community comes back for you in times like this when you really need it.
Word. That's
I kind of like that, kind of like going fast and going far kind of statement. Where, working together, even an event like this, like Rent Party, it's something where like we all came and all did something, together, pitched in, your 2 pennies plus their 2 pennies, and, everybody's stuff kind of came together, and we had something big to do. So yeah, I definitely, I see where you're coming from with that, because of course, you can't press that flesh no more.
Right. Yeah. You don't want to press.
You can't do the 2-hand hold. You can't shake the hand and then hug the hand.
But let's also pass that same question on quickly to Gamma Ray. But shout out to the feeling of being on projects, but you can't talk on them. Just shout out to that. But Gamma Ray, like what's been your adaptation in terms of your hustle over quarantine?
It's definitely forced me to, as I was saying earlier, like, to just get real creative. I mean, at first, I've been blessed to have the 9 to 5, lawyer by day. That's definitely kept me busy and slightly stressed. But even more so, just diving really all into, you know, my cosplay and the podcast, because I mean, I don't know about y'all, but mental health, the stress of just everything we're going through, it's like everybody needs an outlet. That's the only way we're gonna stay sane. I mean, so that's forced me to just really dive in, push myself, like stuff that I kind of put off and was like, oh, I'll try that later down in the year. I might learn how to, you know, deal with these materials or learn how to, you know, sew this kind of pattern. But I'm just like, you know what? Not going nowhere. Might as well learn today. And it's just fun. I mean, honestly, I feel like everything's taken a virtual aspect, and I have been able to interact and engage with people I probably would have never had the opportunity to do otherwise unless we were kind of forcing the situation. I mean, I was able to participate in the Crunchyroll Expo cosplay contest, and honestly, that was just because it was virtual. And if that was, you know, in person like a regular con, I probably wouldn't have went because it's way out there in California. Wow. So I would have stayed right here locally in Mississippi. But I mean, it was an amazing experience, and I'm just excited to participate in other virtual cons and engage with, you know, different type of content creators, collaborations. Like Taki was saying, like I did a cosplay from Fire Force. Another Black cosplayer saw it, and his character was actually a companion to my character, and we like did a virtual collab, and it wasn't even like planned, you know. He like edited our artwork together. So stuff like that. It's just been fun, and like honestly the best kind of like, because I mean, it's the mind is very powerful, and it will force you to just kind of like get in your head, and like every time a little tickle in the throat or cough, you might be thinking like, what is that? But it's just kind of that state.
Yeah, I feel that. So with the kind of the growth and the movement across you know, all of these squares that are here, Lazy Nerd Designs, I see you. So yeah, how are you adjusting? Because I was sure to jump to the next question, and then I peeked my head over my setup. So yeah, answer the question.
Answer the question, lazy nerd.
Yeah, stop being lazy.
The American people want to know.
Give me a second.
You had to think. You supposed to be ready.
I was over here fidgeting.
This Halloween in America won't answer. How you dealing with this pandemic, brother?
I just kind of I just thought about that yesterday. It just popped in my head. I'm like, okay, I can't do what I was normally doing. You would think I would miss cons, but I honestly kind of don't miss cons because I've been having so much fun doing the video content that I've been doing. So I've been doing video content. I am an artist, but I've been honing my art skills. So, because usually I do what I can, and then I have art friends that are better than me. So I'm like, yo, I need help with X, Y, and Z. Now I'm like trying to get to the point where I might not need help with X, Y, and Z. I just might take the lazy route and still ask them just because I don't want to do it, but I can.
I'm noticing something across the branding here.
Hey, I'm changing up the whole lazy thing. Lazy's not what it's gonna be anymore. It's gonna be being efficient and diplomating tasks for other people, so the whole machine can run smoothly and more efficiently.
I like how you switched that up. We gotta get you an acronym for that.
Hold on, no, being lazy and efficient is how we run over here. So
I'll give you also, the other way I've handled this whole situation. We have been networking a little bit more, which is kind of how we ended up on this. But I think I might have lost my thought. Damn.
That's okay. We got a lot around. We're gonna come back to you. Across content. For the record, I'm more from the Michael Jordan. I take everything impersonally and get super intense school of handling things. So we all got different approaches. But we find a way to make that work somehow. But across content, it seems like a lot of us are growing and making moves and developing. And, you know, two of the names, particularly when we're talking about the writing that come to mind, would be Robert and Brandon. So I'll start with Brandon on this one. How are you finding it from, I guess, the political side when it comes to getting your choice of artists? Like, I know, like with Excellence, you work, you know, real closely with Kari, and shout out to him, because he got the best bio on Twitter because of the work that he does. Like, so if anybody who knows Kari Randolph, you go to his Twitter bio and you look at the books that he has titled, he's working on a project called Black, and then of course he's working on Excellence. So like, just as far as bars go for a Twitter bio, man got some of the best, the best in the game of Twitter. So shout out to him. But to the question though, how are you finding it? Because like, I know in my case with various writers, I know the same thing with Jason Reeves. You know, we get the opportunity that those of us that got homies that are writers that make it, you know, as it's perceived by a lot of people, into the space of the big two, you know, like to get those call-ups or whatever, or to even be in discussion for those opportunities. Like, I know for a fact that people have slid portfolios on my behalf and whatnot. How do you find that discussion goes politically for you? And do you feel like there's room for growth or change?
Dang, that's a small question.
Well, for me, what I found over the years, because you know, I've kind of snaked in and out of the, you know, the so-called mainstream over you know, the last, I don't know, 10 years or something ridiculous that makes me tired when I think about it. Like, how long have I been doing this? Oh my God. Okay. So I would say that, let's use Kari as an example. Because I'm working with Kari on Excellence, because it has set like a certain kind of like visual, like storytelling standard, now I have access to better artists at mainstream companies than I did when I was starting out. So just from working with Kari, by having, you know, stories that I've written appear with his artwork, it has kind of reset the perception of my work, which is what you always want, right? Because you know, you can write the best script in the world, but if your art is not it, then it's not it. It's going to be hard for people to read it. It's going to be hard for people to get into it, and it is going to. And you know, when I say the word like diminish, like I don't mean it to sound like as strong as that. But when you were working with someone else who is basically kind of matching your effort and your commitment level, and it's visible, it changes the conversation. So I know that there are things that I'm working on at DC now where my editors are like, you know, we have to get you someone really good, you know, to draw this script. Like, we're not gonna get, like, here's a great example. So I'm doing Future State Outsiders with an artist named Summit Kamar. He's done some indie stuff. I think he started out at Action Lab, might have done an image thing, but I mean, this dude is dope. Like, the person that I compare him to is Opena. Like, there are kind of hints of Opena's work like in his line right now, and he is an amazing artist. Like, I have the art from the first issue of Outsiders, and people are going to lose their minds when they see it. But my larger point is that I'm working with Summit, who's a beast, but Jordi Ballard is coloring this book, right? Now, I did not have access to Jordi Ballard colors, you know, a couple of years ago. But now that I've done Excellence, they've seen Kari Randolph, they've seen Emilio Lopez, and they're like, look, if we like buy a script from this dude, we need to make sure that it looks the best it possibly can. Like, let's not just, you know, throw him on something and just be like, oh, hey, look, you know, we got a brother, we got one. So that's kind of the difference
They
That's
don't
the
get to
difference.
shuffle you off with anybody.
Exactly.
Right.
Because if anybody if you know anything about the direct market and comics and the way the sometimes ridiculous direct market works, you know that anytime you have like a person of color or a woman writing a book, that artist has to be tremendous, because the market is looking for any reason possible to ignore you and diminish you and not order your book. And if you put like a tremendous art team on it, it's harder for them to do that. And I feel like this is something that these companies like either they didn't understand or they didn't want to acknowledge it several years ago. But now there is a little more space in there where they're like, okay, look, if we gonna, if we want to actually, if we want to do this right, then we need to put these people in opportunities where they will succeed, not where we can just say, hey, look, we put some books out and and then they disappeared and then no one ever heard from them again. Right. So I would definitely say that working with an artist like Kari has definitely elevated the perspective of the quality of my work, and that is being carried forward into assignments with other companies, where I've never had a major company basically say like, well, like not that they're identifying a specific person, but I've never had them act in a way like, okay, you're too good to work with these guys now. This is who you're going to work with now. So that's kind of the point of view that my work is kind of being viewed at now in the so-called mainstream, where it wasn't before, because I had never
moving to a higher tax bracket.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, I've worked with some great artists over the years, but it's not Kari. I mean, you can tell. I'm like, if you've read Excellence, it's an escalation. Exactly. Of kind of like how my scripts can look, with the right hand and the right commitment attached.
Right. And I don't remember if I had him on my personal part of the top 10 list, but I always say like he's kind of the love child of Jack Kirby and Ernie Barnes, with that real stretchy style, like, you know what I'm saying? So that, I mean, like that kind of elevation is always necessary. And to keep it real, it's a visual medium. Yeah. Say diminish. You can say diminish. Don't act like having the wrong artist doesn't crush the product or
it'll take you out.
Man, it sure will.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
So, I mean,
that cover artist be fire. Open on the inside, you're like, what is this?
And not to diverge too much, but like there's a difference, like skill level artist wise is very, is up to the person, up to the buyer, the audience. But if you get a banal artist on a good script, he takes that script or she takes that script down. Like, you want to have the best artist possible on the work, and the mainstream should know this, but they wild. They act wild.
I mean, like it would be more wild if they weren't so wild. You know what I'm saying? Like if they could genuinely plead ignorance, that would almost be better. Right. And that's kind of
that would be. If they were still learning, that would be wonderful, but they are not. Yes. And I'm not about to get on my soapbox about it. I'm not about to act.
But we here. I know what you mean. We here.
We understand what you're saying.
Yeah. Oh, and to the end, like, but what's beautiful now is, like, who's the captain now?
And that's a question.
Because we've heard every iteration of one of their guys getting hit with goop, getting hit by a meteor, falling from another planet, coming from the stars, being from outer space. We've seen all of those iterations. We hadn't seen it drawn by somebody that looks like her and just pointing at squares, right? We haven't seen it cosplayed by her. We haven't seen it talked about by them. like that's where the difference is. I think the voices that you're hearing, like, and I know we're gonna be talking about this later tonight, but like when you think about shows like Lovecraft Country or Watchmen or whatever, it's not that the ideas contained in that content are so revolutionary. It's that it's revolutionary that you're hearing it come from the voices that you're hearing it from. But when you get the perspectives of other people, you will naturally, you know, if those people adhere to a certain standard of, no pun intended, excellence, if they adhere to a certain standard, right, you know what I'm saying, then the space that's open, again, no pun intended, is theirs to avenge. So to that end,
wow, man.
True.
I'm just being real. You know what I'm saying? We could all be part of one nation. So
I was saying that in
I love this show
earlier this week was like, you know,
it was like wildfire.
All of the situations are not necessarily anything new under the sun, but when you add a different culture, a different perspective, you know, different gender, you know, when you add all of these different spices to the mix, you get different stories. You get them told a different way, and then they pop. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to pop, you know what I'm saying, you want to add others to the mix. You don't want to just homogenize the thing. I know in business that's what they want, but now we're in a zeitgeist where homogenization is not good. It's losing us money. So we need to add some more to the gumbo. You know what I'm saying?
And look out the window and see what the desperation to hold on to that homogenous nature is getting you. Like, look at all those angry faces, bro. Look at all of it. Those are pained expressions out there at the idea that somebody else also likes the thing that they like. I've always found this super strange, but you know, I'm a Star Trek fan, so I know you can't get into outer space and go at warp speed. Just saying. Doesn't work like that.
Man, listen.
I mean, y'all, the best example of what y'all are saying is Far Sector. You bring in one of the best science fiction writers in the game and apply her to one of the most galactic stories ever in DC Comics, and you bring in one of the probably the best artists at DC Comics, and you get something like that. And why it took that long for that to happen, you know, we can question, but we're showing that through.
Is it not collected into a collected series? So
Man,
I can buy.
Okay, I'm trying to keep things positive, but anyways, but I, you know, I love N.K. Jemison's work, and when I heard that she was doing something with the Lanterns, I was like, let's go. And you read that first issue, and when there's a part in there where I think she calls somebody Hasidity. It's like, you know, there's something more going on there, and I'm a Star Trek fan, so anything cosmic and in space is always going to be, you know, what I love. So, but that's a good example of what y'all were just kind of the big publishers getting it, because the talent is there. I mean, Brandon Thomas, you got it right there. I mean, when that Future State press announcement came out, I felt like I was hugging everybody at a barbecue. You know, that's what I was like, because in my mind, like, I love the indie level, like I love it, but I'm always gonna, you know, support and celebrate, you know, brothers and sisters and just everybody who isn't, you know, who has never had that door open to have that door open. But Far Sector is something that I think that it's a pure culmination of people getting it. And it's like, let's pull the trigger on it and let's see what beautiful stories that we can tell.
And Robert, you're actually a part of that story. I haven't told you this before, but I started talking to DC at that show at New York Comic Con. Me and Robert got together at New York Comic Con. I had a really great conversation about you know, being crazy enough to try to do this and how you have to suffer for it sometimes unnecessarily. But after we had that conversation, that's when I first started talking to an editor at DC Comics. That excellent signing that I was running to when I had to leave you. That's like the first time I had talked to somebody at DC in years, which is a longer story. There were basically, without getting too far into it, I was on a list. I was put on a do not call list, and
Wow.
the person who created that list is no longer present. And
won't he do it? Won't he do it?
Touch your name, baby. Say, won't he do it?
And when that was true, it took.
My bad. I was saying the funny thing about the people who usually run the blacklist is they the ones that need to be blacklisted most of the time.
That's true.
And they ain't never black.
That's the odd thing about it.
That part.
Isn't that the odd thing about it?
Yo, for real.
I am a person who is on record, just like personally. It's not anything against the larger mechanisms, but I've never been personally inclined. Like the stories that I want to tell are intensely personal. But when I saw what was happening, even before Future State, like my mind goes back to cats like Brandon Easton and stuff like that, because I used to check out the two Brandons, and like from afar, I felt like I was getting roasted. Like I always felt super intense, like not working hard enough and not grinding and not being serious. I just
people were just roasting each other for a lot of time.
I came up kind of like trying to build my work ethic off of feeling like if I could sit in the room with Brandon Easton and like not get cursed out by him, I think
that Brandon Easton works hard. He is one of the most hardest working, resilient people that I have ever met in my life. I don't think that I work as hard as Brandon Easton does. Like that brother, what he's fought through and what he's overcome to get to where he is tremendous. It's tremendous. And I'm so happy that he's doing stuff for DC now too.
And just watching that, watching him get to do, like, I remember him doing Marauders and like knowing that he was a huge fan of like seeing him on Netflix, seeing all of these people who should have been doing this kind of stuff 5 years ago. Like that's how I feel. That's how I feel. I'm like, y'all.
Who would have thought that it would have took a whole apocalypse?
Right. That's how bad things are.
Right.
Like apocalypse negated the blacklist real quick, and now you can get some work. Hooray!
But also Armageddon type. You know what I'm saying?
Let's be for real.
Save the comic book industry. Right,
let's be for real. Before we jump to the very, to like the, I guess, last question or so. Peep this: the mediocre person who probably uncle or dad or best friend got them their job to be able to make a blacklist was able to stay in that job until a pandemic hit. That's the difference that we're dealing with. Because let's not front. Let's not mince words. That joint was probably nepotism as all get out. Probably somebody daddy, somebody uncle, or somebody's son, brother, cousin. You know what I'm saying? Don't know nothing about comics, or like don't even know about the business side of comics or anything. But I went to school with you, so okay.
Right.
You can do it. And then you got the nerve to make a black. So a pandemic had to happen. People had to try to kidnap a governor. Folks out there fighting in the streets. People getting killed on TV almost weekly. And finally, all right, black people, come right on it.
Right.
We'll let you write.
Step in.
But also we've all kind of known that comics been slave to that 18 to 44 demo, to that kind of conventional wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So to be past that point and to see people who are really hard working, that's a beautiful thing. So it's odd that the mask is off on Halloween. Getting back on the side of See what I did there? Get back on the side of the artist. I already kind of stated where my position is in the world, but Miss Marie, if you could draw anything, if you could work on any project, what would it be and how come?
Wow. After I read, so like I've never been the type of person that actually strove to like work for the big two. Not to say that I wouldn't, but it was never like a lot of people, it's like a dream of theirs, and it was never one of my dreams. But I will say, after I read Eve Ewing on Riri Williams, I was like, I could draw with her. I was like, I could draw with her. So that was one. And also, I just started reading Silk. I was talking to Robert about this. Silk character from Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Korean American. And when I read her book, I was like, why did they do her like this? And it just kind of made me want to work with somebody that would like treat that character with a little bit more respect. Sometimes like I'll read stuff and it's not even so much the dream of working on a certain character. It's if I read something and I'm like, you know, especially if it's a character of color and the character wasn't treated properly, there's something that goes off of me where it's like, I want the challenge of showing people that this character could be something great. And the person who treated this character like this made a trash move. This character can actually be somebody great. Yeah. So
yeah. Shout out to them. I know exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Solid on that.
I'd like to pose that question to the duo in the Lazy Nerd section. You know what I'm saying? Is there something you've come across, whether in game or comics or something, where it's like, but I really wish I could do that or redo that, or I don't think they're handling it right. I think I got a better take on it.
So for me, I don't know if anybody is James Patterson fans.
Oh yes.
He did the Maximum Ride series. It's been one of my favorite series my whole life. Like I read all the books, and I remember when I was younger, like as I was reading them, being like, you know what, I want to make films so that I can make films out of these movies. And then I found out, you know, they were supposed to be doing like the TV show and all of that. Y'all, I never even looked at it because I seen all the reviews and I wasn't ready for them. I wasn't ready for them to destroy that for me. But that would be something for me. And I'm not gonna lie, I would be the person who would change, because you remember only one of the siblings was black. And I was like, yeah, no, they'd probably all be people of color. And like I'd probably go hard with that because Maximum Ride series were hard. Like I like the whole post-apocalyptic kids in charge of like saving the world. You know, they always give it to kids, but I liked how that storyline played out, and that would definitely be something I would like to get my hands on and be like, all right, we finna make this real black.
Yeah, I like that, no doubt.
You were just talking about you wanted to remake a.
What was it? Because I'm like sitting there rattling my brain.
Well, while you think about that,
y'all said it on the NERDSoul thing.
Catch your thought, because I have one in the chamber. Robert, you know about this one. I think I commented it under your statement one time with this, but I've been a fan of supernatural horror and supernatural action pretty much my whole life. Give me Brother Voodoo, cut the brother, just Voodoo. I'm not a writer, but I can give y'all the idea of the joint and then give it to somebody like Brandon Thomas. Like I can give you like, hey, like this is what will happen. Story by
y'all gonna have to fight
Greg. That would be Greg.
Yeah, buddy.
Greg would cut next for that.
I don't know if you've been watching the workout video, but
I know Greg
with the hard body.
But see, that's how. But that's the thing. Greg is a writer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I come in. I'll be like, yo, here's the story by. You know what I'm saying? Boom. This is just where I'm looking at. You know what I'm saying? This is the 5-year arc. Boom. You hit with the dialogue and all that. Do your thing, and I'ma just chill. And that's like, yo, for real, supernatural. Whether it's demons, monsters, vampires, werewolves, ghosts, so I'm there. There's something that's terrorizing people that comes from under the bed that needs to be slain. I'm there usually, unless it's kind of cheesy like Hellstrom. But besides that,
I would love to anytime
you throwing
dialogue.
darts.
Low key shade.
There, but sometimes if it ain't cheesy, like I want to see that in dialogue.
So how does that
over his head? That's
so dream job wise, how does that translate? How does that translate to cosplay for Gamma?
Yeah,
like your dream thingy, your dream thing.
I honestly got that. Definitely my ideal, like if things just stars aligned with my cosplaying and content creation, and it just, I wake up the next day and it's like, bam, is essentially being able to do a lot of like cosplay promotion for, I mean, like big upcoming Marvel movies, DC movies, you know, these anime that they're, I mean, it's like we're having a ton of anime coming through, and I really feel like we're starting to see a lot more appropriate and accurate Black representation in a lot of these series. And I would just love to, you know, essentially cosplay as that character, and not even just the Black characters, but any character, but being highlighted as, you know, just overall showing the diversity, and essentially just being like paid to cosplay all day, going, you know, all these events, dressing up as these characters, people like helping sponsorships, like I would be in heaven. That would be awesome. Trying to get like a Cutie Senpai. Like she's like the goal, the cosplay goal reaching. Like that would be ideal.
Down here we have Yaya Han. Like she's a cosplayer.
Yes. Oh my god.
Yeah. Yaya Han was. Yeah, she's another one. Can I jump in with my top 4 because this is kind of like my fanboy question. Sorry. Sliders. I'm sorry, Sliders.
Shouts to Sliders.
Yeah, Rocket from Milestone. So
yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And Jessica Cruz from DC, because I had a chance to kind of do a mock script with her for the workshop, and the more I learned about her backstory, I was very excited to kind of do more with her. But those are kind of the top 3 in the Streets of Rage comic book series. I'm sorry, I don't care anybody says.
Listen,
yes,
if
Takia,
that happens,
you and me.
I want to draw that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, 133 art. If that comes to your desk, I don't care who it comes to. Brandon, if it comes to you,
all right.
I'm gonna save this video and I'm gonna put it as Exhibit A.
Yo, Jay, check
anybody. Because me and Robert were talking about that, and I was like, that would be so dope. Because Streets of Rage is one of my favorite video games of all time. Streets of Rage 2 takes me back. So Robert, I don't mean to steal your thunder. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Just saying, I would love to draw that.
For me personally, I'm a little bit out of left field. First, I would need the technology that Kanye used to give Kim Kardashian her dad back in the form of a hologram. And with that technology, I would go back and resurrect a bunch of the cool 80s shows, but with different plot twists, starting with Furley and Roper. Mr. Furley and Mr. Roper, Reeves Company, work together solving mysteries as they go around the country viewing Airbnb.
That would be great. I would love that. You need to pitch that as a TV show, man. That would be so great.
I had a dream like several years ago that I wrote a Jetsons spinoff that was based on Elroy as a detective called That Boy Elroy. It's one of the weirdest dreams. It was so specific and strange. I'm like, what? Where did that come from?
Get that man 12 episodes.
I'm always up for something strange and unexpected like that. You know what I like? I like Quantum Leap. Like I've always wanted to do like an extension or kind of a revamp or a reskin or whatever of that idea. Like I had my best friend, his favorite show of all time was Quantum Leap, and I remember how long it took me to actually watch it and take it seriously. Like, what is it about this? What is it? But you know, I really like that show. I really like that idea. But obviously, I'd kill to get my hands on Thundercats and to a lesser extent Silverhawks. I almost want Silverhawks more because I feel like Silverhawks was more kind of like garbage in its original form. So I feel like there's more kind of
a fresh redesign.
The baseline is kind of so low that I feel like, you know, yeah, I could do some interesting stuff with that. And then obviously my white whale is Star Wars. I mean, you know, I feel like I'm moving up to that.
Star Wars is dope, man. Don't sleep.
JoJo, a character from the JoJo Bizarre series. Like if somebody was and like have, you know, it somehow, I don't know how they could trickle down. Maybe Granddaddy JoJo hasn't, you know, another affair, or there's like a distant relative. Anyway, the person is black, is a black girl, and I have like a stand, and like somebody create me like a cool stand with cool powers and a cool name, and I kept.
You can use
a lot of names.
You can use Quinn's hologram technology for your stand.
I'll loan it out.
Yep.
Like I do bar mitzvahs and like wedding. Like I wouldn't just hold it out for TV shows. I'm trying to make money during the pandemic, so I'm trying to roll it out for like bar mitzvahs and all of that kind of stuff. I want to be available.
Rent that stuff out for birthday parties.
Yeah.
So Lazy Nerd, what's on your mind? What you got your thought back? What's up?
To the person, yeah, all of that.
I guess I can't deny it because I know if you've seen the other setup I usually have, we have a Halloween party going. That's why I got this backdrop. But I'm like a stupid Fallout fan. So, and for the longest, I've been wanting them to do, because there's been whispers of them doing the Fallout New Orleans. So they would ever put me on the team for them to do a Fallout New Orleans, I'd be all on that. Because I am a Louisiana native. New Orleans is like right around the corner for me. It's an hour drive. And then I'm a Fallout nut too. So if I could be, that would probably be a good dream job for me. Another one, since you guys know I do the t-shirt stuff, and usually when people see my stuff and my designs, they like it because it doesn't have that nice Walmart corporate Target. I can get that corporate feel. So any like popular, it doesn't even have to be anime. If any popular franchise, if I could get with their merch team and give them something that feels more not so uptight and loose, I would love to be a part of that too.
Okay.
Word up. Well, guys, we have been kicking it. Can
I say what my dream job is? No.
Oh yeah, go.
I don't get to say what my dream job is. Can the kid?
Hey man,
I want to be a refrigerator.
You already got it.
I want to do like a cross between Atlanta and like a superhero movie. So I want the irreverence and the sort of like Curb Your Enthusiasm kind of jokes. You know, that's those somber moments, but also I want superheroes, but also I want it to be my characters, and I want to put it on like streaming services and like Blu-ray and sell it myself off my website. I'm sorry, go ahead, finish.
Trying to hand out his mixtape.
That's it. That's all I want.
There it is. So guys, we have exercised the demons. I'm so excited to have these people here. Some funky, fresh, fly folks. But we're gonna start from the bottom to the top. Lazy Nerd, tell them where they can find you.
Find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all the social media things. And usually on those social media things, there's a link that gives you all our other links. So as long as you go to one of those things, you got all our things. So that's where you can find us. And
their links are down below, y'all, for real. And next up, we got Takia Marie.
So you can find me at takiamarie.com and Takia Marie on Instagram and Twitter. And just like, you know, Lazy Nerd has an inception of links. If you go to my Instagram, there's also links to other links. So, but yeah, takiamarie.com and Takia Marie on social media.
What up? What up? Mr. Thomas.
BrandonThomasWrites.com. And I'm on Twitter, bwrites247. Same handle on Instagram. And if you go to the website, point you where you need to go.
What up? What up? Gamma Ray.
Yes, you can find me on all social media platforms at Gamma Ray Cosplay. Also, you can check out a podcast I help co-host, and it's at Geeked Up JXN. And that streams, you can listen on all platforms as well for that. So, yeah.
What up? What up? And since Mind to Avenge is free, I'd like to introduce to you the man of the hour, Robert TMF Jeffrey.
Robert Cleophas Jeffrey.
Apparently with the whitest name on the internet, right? Remember that?
Oh God. Forgot all about that.
I love Facebook, y'all. I love social media.
Homie had the
People
most
can say
hotep name
anything
too.
about you. Yeah. I'm sorry, MLTAP. Anyways, my website is Robert K. Jeffrey, JEFFREY.com, RobertKJeffrey.com. And you can mainly find me on Instagram and Facebook at Robert K. Jeffrey. Twitter, not so much, but those Instagram and Facebook are the best places to find me. So,
K for Cleophas.
Shout out to Cleophas.
Right?
But guys, thank you for coming through. You know what I'm saying? It's good to check in during the pandemic, see how y'all feeling, how y'all making it through. I like what you brought up, Quinn. You know what I'm saying? Who is the captain now? Because they're doing look at Captain Free. Look it's a free for all.
I'm really happy to see like these brilliant people that on our side we've been knew they was brilliant. You know what I mean? So like,
yeah,
it's not
right
to us, but it's you know, like it's a beautiful moment for us to be blossoming. And although, you know, Brandon was like, it's not the most ideal time to feel like you're having that success, aren't all the great heroes born out of chaos?
And villains.
Yeah.
My coin is not yet.
The verdict is out on some of them. So
look, sometimes it's good to be bad. That's all I'm saying about that.
Oh boy.
But like it's this year's been a coin. There's a good side of the coin, there's a bad side of the coin. Some of us got the good side of the coin, some of us got the bad side of the coin. If you got the good side of the coin, run with it. Run hard and fast. Don't let them catch you.
Man, don't stay in this year.
For real.
Don't stop till you get to 2022.
So
running.
Just keep going.
Keep going.
So guys, we're gonna take a short break. Then we're gonna be back with the dude that will fight me for Brother Voodoo. That's right. We've got Greg Anderson, Elise. I've been studying my shotos. I've been doing so you never know. I might come out with it. I mean, you know,
got that.
I've been watching the brother work.
I've been watching all of the Wu-Tang movies. I've been watching all of the Kung Fu films. Chuck Norris, Van Damme, Wesley Snipes when he was doing like Passenger 57. Been watching all of them, all right? So you never know. I'm just saying, you know, you never know. You never know what might happen. But we're going to be back in just a second. We'll holler at y'all later. Thanks for chilling with the Rip Party. Stick around and peace.